Hey everyone, my name is João, or Jean. I made this Lancer token and Tileset pack. I do apologize for my accent as I am Brazilian, and I also do apologize for my neighbors who are quite noisy, and I've been waiting for them to quiet down for a bit, but they haven't, and I promised I'd deliver this video today. So, guess we gotta hear them in the background. Sorry about that. But here we have Tiled. I've just opened it. I haven't updated it in a while, but I hope it shouldn't be too different. And to begin with, we're just going to click New Map over here. You can just click it here. If you prefer, you can also go over here in File, New Map. I'm on Windows, but I'm pretty sure it would work the same on other supported OSs for Tiled. So when you create new map, here is where things can go wrong at first, and we want to have these options really sorted out. Okay, so here in orientation, it will probably be defaulting to orthogonal. I have never said this word out loud. I don't know if this is how you pronounce it, but this is the option you want when you have like neat tiles that make for an overview game, something like a Zelda-like, the 2D Zeldas or something of the sort, or maybe one of the SNES Final Fantasies, right? So this is what you would be using. Isometric, probably staggered, is what you would use if you were using tiles for something like a Tactics Ogre or a Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. For this tile set, we'll be using the hexagonal option. Staggered, I might have mentioned on a comment on Reddit before that you needed to have vertical hexes, but that's actually for row 20. I didn't have the programs in nearby when I wrote that comment, so I was going by memory. That's actually an option you need to do for row 20. So here we're just gonna choose the hex orientation. The layer format isn't terribly important. I'm gonna go with the standard compressed. And the render order in our case also isn't terribly important right now, but it should be important if you're doing something that has a little bit more of offset layering. We shouldn't really need to worry about this right now. When you open it, the tile size might not be defaulting to 32 by 32. It might be something like 16 by 16. I'm not sure what it would be. But it's important that for my tile set, you change it for 32 by 32. Other tile sets might use different sizes, and you can definitely change this when you're creating a new map. But for the purposes of what you've downloaded from my pack, 32 by 32 is the way to go. And here in map size, you can choose how many tiles, how big the map is tiles-wise, right? Because the hexes are typically larger, they're typically wider, they're taller or something like that. Basically, if you have a 15 tile by 15 maps, you can see here in pixels, this is not going to be a square. But that's fine. Gameplay-wise, it should be square, if that makes sense. So you're going to click Save As, and you're going to save it as, I don't know, example map. I already have that. For a previous attempt at recording this video that went bad. I'm gonna save it as example map 2. I don't know. So tiled map files go as TMX or XML, mostly for importing purposes. I've never done much importing with it, but it's an option, just so you know. So now I've saved it, but there's no tile set. It has a preview here from the last tile set I used, but if you want to create a new tile set, we're gonna go down here. In the lower right corner, there's this new tile set button here because we have no tile sets. But if you had one, you can also come down here even further lower, and there's this new tile set with a blank page with a star sort of deal. Clicking here or clicking new tile set here will lead to the same pop-up. Here you can name a tile set, let's say Laser Pack Test 2. And at source, we're going to browse for our image. And here in hex tiles, or I think that's where I put it, you have two options. Organize 8x means it was blown 8 times. It's actually 8 times. Because we've set the map as 32 by 32 tiles, we want to use the original res, so just the no 8x in the file name. The reason I like to do this is also because Tiled has an inbuilt blown up function. I'm going to show you how to export images at the end of this video. We can definitely use that. It's also important to adjust the tiled sizes here when you're creating the tile set. It might be also defaulting to something different from your map, like 16 by 16. So I'm just gonna go and have it at 32 by 32 as well. Make sure use transparent color is checked, especially with hexes. And here you can choose an absolute transparent color. Say for one of those people that liked using pink transparency, you can have 255, 255, 2550, 255 here. But you can also click this blank square here, which means big color from image, as you can see from the floating text. And make sure you click between the hexes where it's transparent. It's kind of like an eyedropper situation, so the crosshair. If I click here in the white, then all the snow will be transparent, and there will be no transparency around the edges, and that won't do for us. So let's click here, and all set. So we click Save As. We had a pre-name here already, but you can change the name before you save if you want. And you will be thrown to the tile pack page, but you can just go back to the tab here. The reason why it saves tiles separately as TSX, it's a tile set file. You can use the same file for many different maps, so you don't have to create a new tile set every single time. So that's basically it. Let's just go over tools pretty quick. Here we have the stamp brush, which might as well have been called a pen or a brush. You can freeform with it. The shortcut for this is B. If you've used Photoshop or other image processing software before, this should be a fairly common shortcut. Not much to say here. Next two brushes, Terrain and Wang, are definitely useful, but I don't think we need to use them for this spec. I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible. So next up we have the Bucket Fill tool, which you might be familiar from other softwares. The major difference here is that its shortcut is F instead of G or something like that. But you know, as you can see, it basically fills in every tile that is neighboring the same tile. So if everything is transparent, it will fill in that. But like, it can also recognize when it's contiguous with same tiles, so you can just quickly replace tiles of the same type if you want. I'm just noodling over the map here, so it's definitely not going to be very cohesive. But yeah, so this is the fill bucket fill tool. Right after that we have the shape fill tool with P, which, you know, it's basically for large areas, but maybe you want to have some control, maybe you want to have a line, I don't know. There's an eraser, of course. And whenever you see this gray, this default gray, it means transparent, right? It will render as transparent, probably. Yeah, we have stuff like the magic wand to select similar tiles as well. But I think these are the tools that will be getting most of your attention. If you've selected something with the wand, sorry, you can also right-click to undo the selection. And what else? You can definitely flip tiles. So I have the bone here. You can click here, up here, to flip horizontally, or you can just press X on your keyboard to do that. You can also do that vertically with Y. And if you're using square tiles, you can even rotate stuff with Z and Shift Z for different directions. But for the hexes, it doesn't look that great, as you can see, because of the nature of pixel art. So I would not recommend doing that. Oh, sure. And like, let's say you have, maybe you've downloaded a different tile set that has like some set dressing. You have something that's also 32 by 32 and has a transparent background, like say buildings or transport or something, maybe even tokens from from something else. For our example, I'm actually going to create a new tile set based on our tokens, or Lancer tokens, right? And what happens here is that here you can change tabs between different tile sets, right? And if I grab, say, the baler here, right, and I click, you can see that the tile behind him is disappearing. You can see the default gray at the background. That's not really great. That's not what you want. So what we're going to do is use the layer function, right? Right here on the upper right corner, you have the layer window, I guess. And if you click here on the blank page with a star, much like in the tile set, you can create a new layer. When you create a new tile layer, you can just grab the baler, and now he won't be erasing anything anymore. Will just be there, and the transparent parts will be transparent, right? You can do that with any other token or any other really set dressing you might have downloaded. So that's mostly what we'll be using layers for, but if you want to have this set dressing not locked to the grid, because if you realize that I'm clicking and like the Pegasus now is only being added to the grid, right? You can also create a layer, but instead of creating a tile layer, you can create an object layer. And what this does is that if you go over here on the top and select the insert tile, shortcut T, you can grab one of your tiles on the tile set and you can place it anywhere you want without being locked to the layer, like this cluster of tortugas here. So that's basically it for creating and editing maps. You can also resize a map if you realize you need a little bit more space. With map, resize map. If you reduce tiles, you're gonna get stuff cropped, of course, but you can make it, I don't know, 20 by 20, and you get extra area. Yeah. So that's pretty neat. And when it comes to exporting this as something that we can use, you'll go to File, Export as Image, down here, right? You can browse, choose where you're going to save it, and change name. I would almost always use only include visible layers unless you have something that's not visible for whatever reason. And if you want to blow it up, like I do, usually want to have it at least 8 times blown up, sometimes 16 or 32, to have the nice chunky pixel look and not have it being distorted by JPEG compression on websites like Twitter or Row20. What you can do is down here at the very bottom you have this 233%. This is the current zoom level. So if you choose 800, let's say, and export as image, you can use current zoom level, and that's what it's going to export it as. And that's pretty cool. If you want to, you can also have the grid included. I usually don't like having it, but that's an option. And then after that, just click export. And when you click export, let me go back to Lancer Minis, and it will be here. Yeah, you might have noticed a cut here because I couldn't find the test map, but I did now. It's here, example map. So it's here now, and it's biggish. It's not the prettiest map right now because I was just absent-mindedly doing it, but I hope you find this useful. I hope this could solve most problems when it came to using Tiled together with my Tileset pack. I hope this wasn't too long or too drawn out, and see you around the internet, I guess. Thank you so much.